Welcome to the Manager Lab, where we delve into the increasingly dynamic world of talent management. In each episode, we will unravel key insights, break down the most relevant books and articles, and provide actionable tips to optimize your approach in developing and retaining top talent. Stay tuned for a deep dive into the art, science, and strategy of unlocking your team's full potential. Let's enter the Manager Lab. Today we're diving into another chapter in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John C. Maxwell, The Law of Victory. Now, Maxwell says leaders find a way for the team to win. Now, it sounds simple on the surface, but when pressure rises, resources shrink, morale drops, and obstacles stack up, this law separates average managers from transformational leaders. Because anybody can lead when things are easy. Real leadership shows up when failure feels possible. And the leaders who practice the law of victory refuse to accept defeat as the final outcome. Not because they ignore reality, but because they believe that there will always be a path forward. So today we're going to unpack what the law of victory means, give some powerful examples that he uses in the chapter, why winning teams think differently, and then finally practical ways that managers can create a culture that fights for solutions instead of surrendering to obstacles. So let's jump in. What's the law of victory? It says that leaders are unwilling to accept defeat. It's kind of like the old Apollo 13 that, failure is not an option. They find a way for the team to succeed. Now, again, this doesn't mean that leaders are reckless optimists. It doesn't mean they deny problems, and it definitely doesn't mean they never fail. It means that they take ownership for creating a path forward, no matter how difficult the circumstances become. Average leaders make excuses. Victorious leaders make adjustments. Where average teams hope things improve, winning teams prepare, adapt, and then execute. So Maxwell points out that victory-minded leaders share three characteristics. 1, unity of vision. 2, diversity of skills. And then 3, a leader dedicated to victory and raising players to their potential. When those three things come together, teams become incredibly resilient. One of the major examples Maxwell uses is Winston Churchill during World War II. When Churchill became prime minister, Great Britain was in a terrible condition. The Nazi war machine was dominating Europe. Fear was spreading. Many people believed defeat was inevitable, but Churchill refused to accept that outcome. He didn't pretend the situation was easy. In fact, he famously told the British people, "I have nothing to offer but blood, toil, tears, and sweat." That's not motivational fluff. That's leadership grounded in reality. But Churchill paired that realism with unwavering determination. He communicated belief when other people were losing hope. He rallied people around a mission bigger than themselves. And most importantly, he refused to quit mentally before the battle was over. That's the law of victory. Leaders transfer belief. Managers often think that their primary responsibility is operational, but one of the greatest responsibilities of leadership is emotional. Your team borrows confidence from you. And if the leader panics, the team will start to fracture. If the leader stays grounded and solution-focused, on the other hand, the team steadies itself. So Maxwell also talks about great sports dynasties and coaches who consistently produced winning cultures. Why? Because winning is rarely accidental. It's cultural. Winning leaders create environments where accountability is normal, preparation is expected, excuses are rejected, and people believe challenges can be overcome. So one of the themes Maxwell emphasizes is that leaders who achieve victory do not rely on talent alone. They build systems. They develop their people. They prepare relentlessly, and they create clarity. Managers often underestimate how much confusion hurts performance. People perform better when they know what winning looks like, why it matters, and then how their role contributes to that condition. Clarity creates confidence. Confidence then fuels execution. Execution creates momentum, and then momentum becomes victory. Okay, practical lesson number 1, stop allowing excuse culture. One of the biggest enemies of the law of victory is excuse culture. That's not my job, or we've always done it this way, or there's nothing we can do. Now, some of those concerns can be valid, but victorious leaders don't park there. They ask, what can we do? What's still possible here? What adjustments give us the best chance to succeed? Managers set the emotional temperature of the team. If you normalize hopelessness, people stop trying. If you normalize problem solving, people become more resourceful. Okay, practical lesson number 2 is unite people around a clear win. People lose motivation when they don't know what success looks like. So victorious leaders define the win clearly. Churchill united a nation around survival and freedom. So great coaches unite teams around championships, and great managers then unite teams around meaningful goals. Don't just say we need better numbers. Say, if we improve response time by 20%, customers will trust us more and the team will experience less chaos. People work harder when they understand the impact. Lesson 3 from the chapter is to develop people, not just results. Maxwell emphasizes that victory-minded leaders raise people to their potential. Winning leaders don't just demand performance, they build performers. This is where many managers struggle. So under pressure, they are tempted to micromanage or control things, but long-term victory requires real depth. So great leaders multiply capability across the team by coaching, encouraging, correcting, and stretching their people, and sometimes believing in people before they believe in themselves. And that's the key. Strong teams are built, not discovered. And the last lesson is to maintain composure under pressure. One reason Churchill became such an iconic leader was emotional steadiness. He acknowledged the difficulty without surrendering hope. That balance matters tremendously for managers. Your team watches your reactions more than your presentations. When deadlines tighten or budgets shrink or mistakes happen, do you create panic or do you create focus? Because calm is contagious, and so is panic. People don't need perfect leaders, they just need steady leaders. The law of victory reminds us that leadership is ultimately about responsibility. Leaders own the outcome. They don't blame circumstances endlessly. They don't surrender when things get hard. They don't allow temporary setbacks to become permanent defeats. So the big takeaways from the chapter are these. Winning begins with belief. Teams reflect the mindset of their leader. Clarity and unity matter more than raw talent. Excuse culture destroys momentum. Developing people is essential for sustained success, and resilience is one of the greatest leadership advantages you can build. But most importantly, victorious leadership is not about arrogance. It's about commitment, a commitment to finding a way forward for the people that depend on you. And in those moments, leadership matters most. Well, thanks for listening today. I hope that summary of the law of victory helped you. And until next time we meet in the Manager Lab, do good work.